All right. Tells me it's showtime. It is time to go live. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of Sensual Abundance. And I gotta tell you, first of all, let me make sure I'm good on Instagram. Okay, I'm good on Instagram now. Um, Let me tell you, I first of all, if you're on Instagram, I'm sorry. If I don't see your comments during the live, they only show up on Instagram. Um, and I don't know that I can see them. So my bad, y'all. Um, can I just start off with today is funky right now for me. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Because if you don't know anything about me, I am not the person to show up and put on like smiley face when it's not like that, because I think that that's a problem. Um, so today I'm going to go into statement 2, and it's funny. Today I was going to talk a little bit about money trauma in preparation for the next 10 statements. We're going to really get into the body, but I might get into it a little bit sooner. So real quick, sorry that I wasn't on here at 9. I have another business, Black Coffee, Honey and Grits. Some of you know about that. And we do rooms on Clubhouse. And this conversation was so good and so necessary and so enriching that I needed to stay on and be part of it. And so I needed to move this to 9:30, which is why I said 9:30-ish, y'all, sometimes. But the plan is always still to be within this time frame. So let me just first apologize for that. But I am here. Second, I do wanna talk about money trauma, and not from an expert point of view, though we will get into some nervous system stuff. I'm just gonna talk about it like a regular person today, because 'cause I'm a regular person. Okay, we're just gonna be here with it today. But let me start off with statement 2. I lift up my mind and heart to be aware, to understand, and to know that the divine presence I am is the source and substance of all my good. I lift up my mind and heart to be aware, to understand, and to know that the divine presence I am is the source and substance of all my good. Now I need you to just take a deep breath in and exhale that. Because see, this goes beyond abundance, right? So without giving all the details right now, and I just told a couple of friends about it this morning. I'm dealing with a situation with one of my children. They're not in danger or anything, but some money things have happened that is causing some angst for them and for me. And it can give you a feeling of being powerless. It can give you like my body this morning, because I feel into my body this morning, like as he's showing me things, my hands are shaking. I'm feeling the anxiousness and the anxiety of this situation, and I can see that he's fearful as well. And so I'm needing to regulate myself in order to regulate himself. And when I come on here and I look at my Evernotes and I'm like, oh, I'm talking about money trauma today. Oh, okay, that's great. Let me get myself together so that I can come on here and be of service to you all. So let's talk a little bit about money trauma. And like I said, I'll break it down when I'm in a better headspace to do it. But I wasn't gonna not show up for you all today, right? So money trauma is a thing. It's a thing. What is trauma? Trauma basically is when you go through a situation and you're not able to complete what's called the stress response cycle. So, and I'm gonna get back to the statement in a minute. I'm gonna come full circle, I promise you. So when something happens to an animal, for instance, in the animal kingdom, they're attacked, they have to run. What will generally happen after the animal is safe is they will shake. That is their way of bringing their nervous system back into homeostasis. As human beings, we're not taught to shake. We are taught when we are faced with a stressful situation not to cry, stop crying, right? We are taught to shut it down. We are taught to fix your face. We are taught to keep it to yourself. We are taught to override and bypass that and just be grateful for what you got. Just be grateful. Um, so that's what happens when you're faced with a traumatic experience. You don't have a chance to run through that cycle, so your nervous system comes back to some type of homeostasis. You stay stuck out here somewhere, and that happens over time, and it starts to build, like calcifies, and it becomes part of your personality or part of your story or anything like that. So how does this relate to money? Well, many of us have grown up with money trauma. I mean, especially I have not lived in another country. I've visited, but I've not lived there. But from what I understand, it's piss poor in other countries as well, especially right now. So I can only speak from the perspective of the United States. You grow up here, many of us grew up in homes where we did not there was not an overflow of cash. And so sometimes you go to the store, I hear stories of people that go to the store, "Can I have this?" No. You think we're rich? You think money grows on trees? You shut down. That's it, period, point blank. Can't have it. We can't afford it. It's not necessary. It's not going to happen. Um, Wealthy people are the devil. Wealthy people are evil. Wealthy people are selfish. You have to work extra hard to get all the money, and then they take it all away anyway. You get what I'm saying? Like, you looked at your money stories, right? And you can see in your money stories where there were these messages of lack. No matter what I do, there will never be enough. No matter what I do, the government's going to take it. No matter what I do, all of these bills keep piling up. I am helpless and powerless in this situation. That is how I felt this morning coming into this, dealing with my son. There was a powerlessness that I was feeling. Let me tie this back to the statement and I'll get back to money trauma in a minute. So when I read this statement this morning, and I didn't get a chance to write the statement out, I'm gonna do it when I get off. My goal is to always write these statements out before I come on here. So I am in the vibration of what needs to happen in a moment. But this is the vibration of what needs to happen in a moment too. So all is well. When I read the statement, I lift up my mind and heart to be aware, to understand, and to know that the divine presence I am is the source and substance of all my good, is also the source and substance of all my protection, is also the source and substance of all my love, is also the source. Okay? Fill it in, fill it in, fill it in. So let's tie it into statement one real quick. If This is where math is helpful. Math is not helpful for solving equations on a piece of paper. Math is helpful for putting logic together. Okay? The if then statements, y'all remember those? If God is lavish, unfailing abundance, and if this all providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as you, if you are a piece of this God source, if that is the reality of you, if the reality of you is that you are a piece of this God source, then would it not make sense that the I am is the source and substance of all your good? Would it not make sense then that you are the source and substance of all your good? Would it not make sense then that everything that you need to create every ounce of abundance in you is already in you? Would it not make sense that you don't need something outside of you for that? That's the algebraic logic that I like to bring to this situation. If I am a piece of source energy, then I am that I am. I am connected to this source. My light is always on. The only dimmer is the one that I apply to it. So if I remove that, huh, is it making sense? Is it landing for you in some way, what I'm saying? And if it's not, it's okay. So let me bring it back to money trauma for a moment. When we encounter situations with our money, for instance, I'll use myself as an example. I didn't grow up poor. We had what we needed. We had what we needed though because my mother often she worked overtime, extra time. My father would be in and out of jobs looking to build entrepreneurship, black man in corporate America. It was real difficult for him. Okay, he's not a yes sir kind of guy. Okay, it only took one time for some white man to say something to him. My father was like, "Fuck you, I'm out." My mother, on the other hand, had been groomed, as many black women were, to take on all of the brunt, to take on the abuses. She worked for lawyers in the 80s and early 90s, mostly the 80s, in New York City. And I'm certain it was not pleasant for her, but the pay was good. But she took it on the chin because that's what we do, right? We just keep taking it and taking it. So there was some money because my mother worked a lot of overtime and my grandmother helped to support. I didn't realize though that I was learning how money was handled, not by listening to any conversations that my parents and I had, because like most homes, there wasn't a conversation about money. My father did talk to me about real estate, he talked to me about investing, but there was no conversation about this is our family budget, this is what you do, none of that. When I became an adult, I ended up repeating patterns that I saw growing up. I took on a lot of jobs. My ex-husband was in and out of work, not for entrepreneurship reasons, but for his own other reasons, right? But still, the pattern was the same. And so here I was working 12-hour days and leaving the house before the sun came up and coming back after the sun came down. And my husband at the time was at home playing video games. That's just the truth, right? We were homeless. We were evicted. The sheriff came and moved us out one time. Sheriff was like, it's time to go, right? Food stamps, shelter, food pantry. Over time, that causes what we call complex post-traumatic stress disorder. A one-time event is acute trauma, right? So it's a one-time event. Oh shoot, I have to tell you all this story so for it to make sense. A one-time event is acute trauma, and then events that keep happening over time cause complex PTSD. PTSD is a one-time event. Complex PTSD is something that happens over and over and over again, right? So for me, a PTSD moment was when I was 10 and my family was evicted. I didn't know we were evicted. There was no conversation. I just know that I left my house in the morning. I was at my grandmother's house in the afternoon, and there was no explanation why. That event affected me more than anything else that probably ever happened in my life and set the stage for money trauma. It set the stage for me not being stable financially. It set the stage for me constantly moving. It set a stage for money comes in and it goes out completely. Money comes in and it goes out completely. It was like a feast or famine. And I know that there are some of you out there who do that, right? It's like I've got a lot of food. I'm gonna eat it. And that actually happened in our household. There were times when I would go what my kids would call big shopping, and we would have food for like 15 days. And then towards the end of the month, the food dwindled down. And it was like, no, don't eat that. No, let's wait. Right. So we do that with our money. It comes in. And then because of when you go back and look at your stories, and we're talking about this today because I want you to go back and look at your stories. When you go back and look at your story and you're hearing me talk about this today, I want you to look at how the events that happened in your life have led you to the money situations you are currently in. How did those stories affect how you respond to money? So my stories, money doesn't like me. Money doesn't come for me. Clearly, because look at all these things that keep happening. Set this up so that when like tax returns would come in, I mean, there was no saving them. There was no point in that. First of all the back bills had to be paid. That's number one, right? And it was like, oh, we could do all this because we're going to pay it off with the tax returns. And then you end up with no money. So it's like lots of money, no money. Lots of money, no money. There's no regulation. So bringing it back to the nervous system. When we're dysregulated in our nervous system, money, relationships, anything else, there is this disjointedness in how we approach things. There can be for some of us this feast or famine. There can be this need to work 5 and 6 jobs. I will never be homeless again. I didn't get that. I kind of wish I had. Like some people go through circumstances where they're homeless and their drive, the trauma of that is, I will never experience that again. And so they forego all relationships and focus solely on their work. Some people like me, we develop what's called learned helplessness. I developed learned helplessness. I can't do this on my own. Someone needs to come help me. Someone needs to come save me. I can't handle this by myself. That's a trauma response. So when you look at your money story and you look at how you've been moving through the world with money, have you gone into a fight response, which is, I'm gonna work 5, 6, 7 jobs. Ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing. I'm gonna stack these checks. I'm gonna get 3, 4 hours of sleep. That's okay. I'm gonna grind till the wheels fall off. I don't need no friends. I don't need no nothing. It's just me and my money. I'm gonna stack this paper. That's a fight response. Is it a flight response? I'm not gonna look at my bills. I don't. I get the envelopes, but I'm just gonna pretend like they're not there. I'm just not gonna look at my bank account. I'm just gonna be surprised when it's in the negative. I'm not gonna be responsible. That's flight. You're just gonna run away from it. Fawn, the learned helplessness. I can't do this on my own. Someone come and help me. No matter what I do, I can't. Right? Is it fight or flight, fawn? There's another one that I forgot. But fight or flight is, oh, freeze. The freeze response. I'm good for that one. I'm very good for the freeze. I don't have any money. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Let me just zone out on social media and scroll. Let me drink. Let me have sex. I just, I'm not gonna think about it at all. It's just not gonna enter my mind at all. So fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. How are you responding to your money situations? I'm gonna read statement 2 again. And that's your assignment, by the way, as you journal. How am I responding to my money situations? Am I a fighter? I wish I had been kind of, sort of. Am I a runner? She's a runner. She's a track star. Am I a runner? Do I freeze? Am I a fawner? Where are you? And you don't have to use those words, but are you one of those that's going to work 50 hours a week and nobody's gonna get between you and your bag? Are you somebody who ignores your bills? Are you somebody who is calling someone whenever something goes wrong? Right? Where are you with your money story? Use your words. They don't have to be mine. Right? But here's the truth of who you are. So I'm going to read statement 1 again because I want you to understand. I want you to, if you can, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to just take a deep breath. God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. Let me just stop right there. Everything, the trees, the grass, the sun, the moon, the stars. Have you ever looked up in the sky and wondered if the Big Dipper would be there for you? Like you couldn't see it, but did you ever wonder, is it going to exist today? Do you wake up and wonder if there's going to be enough air for you to breathe? Do you wake up and wonder if you're going to run out of water? True story. We were out of water in our house, though. For 3 months, we had our water shut off. 2 adults, 5 kids. Whew. Anyway, but do you wonder these things? Or do you just keep breathing because you're like, no, the air is there? Like, where would the air go? That's where I want you all to get to the point with your abundance. Like, it's air. It's air. Right? So that's source energy. That's God. That's Allah. That's Yahweh. That's the creator. That's the universe, whatever word you want to use, providing your air and your water, right? And your stars. Unlimited. This all providing source of infinite prosperity. Now, we just said that this was unlimited. This energy, this unlimited energy, this all providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as you. Can you sit with that and understand? Can you just sit up straight and understand the power that moves through you when you hear that? The same source that provides for the air that you breathe, that you don't think twice about, is individualized as you and your body and your experience and your life and your power. So, statement 2. I lift up my mind and heart to be aware, because it's one thing to hear it, it's another thing to be aware, to understand, and to know that the divine presence I am, source, creator, God, Allah, Yahweh, goddess, doesn't matter to me, okay, the great pumpkin, is the source and substance of all my good. This right here. It is not your job. It is not your man. It's not your woman. It is not your food stamps. Those are those are the mechanisms through which your abundance might flow. But those things are not responsible for the abundance in your life. That's just the vehicle. You understand? We pay too much attention to the vehicle and think the vehicle is responsible. It is not. We can switch out vehicles at any time. We can go from job to entrepreneur. Anytime. You are always the source. It's just which vehicle are you choosing to use to express that abundance? And you get to choose that. So that's it for today. Actually, coming on here helped you all. I hope helped me to work through the feelings that I was feeling this morning and the stress that I was feeling around my son and his situation. I got the purple candle burning in the back there because it's Friday. It's supposed to be pink, but I had you know what? That's interesting. It's Friday. It's supposed to be pink, but I had purple for power. That's what called to me. And I think within my membership group, I'm going to do a class on days of the week and magical correspondences for those of you who are interested in that thing. And I do have a private membership group that I'll talk more about later on in our process. But purple is power. And it's important that you understand that you are the power. And you're not the power out of this arrogant space. You are the power because you are connected to the most infinite power. How could you not be it? You don't create a planet out there, but you can create your own world right where you're at. You are directly linked to source energy. All right, so that's it for today. You're welcome. I want to say a couple of things. A friend of mine brought this to my attention. He was like, I'm not a big writer. I don't like having to write things out. And so I said, well, look, just in case, I know how people get when they take a course or anything. It's like the person says, and so I must do. I'm a believer in scribing. I'm a believer in writing things out. I believe that there is magic in that and that there's an energetic flow in that. However, you might not. It might be more challenging for you, not just, to break through some mindset, but literally it's just not your thing. If it's not your thing and you need to type it out. It's more important to me that you really go through this process and get it in your body than it is that you stick to some type of dogma. I'm not interested in that. So if you need to type out each statement on your laptop, your tablet, if you're journaling on your laptop and tablet, if that's the thing that resonates with you, please go ahead and do that. The thing is just you can't skip a day. That's we can't we can't we can't shift on that. You cannot skip a day. I will promise to show up here every day, even if for some reason I don't make it at 9. I guarantee you I'll be on here at 11:55 p.m. before the next day comes. Okay. But if you need to type it, type it. This needs to be something that resonates with you. Just like I said, you need to change the word God to whatever. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate you all being here today. Replays will be up. Best to find them on YouTube. They will be in a playlist, so you can go back and look at them anytime. Easier to find there. If you have not already joined us in the Facebook group, you are more than welcome to. If you need the link, DM me on whatever platform you're watching this on, and I will be happy to send it to you. My body feels relaxed. Being of service takes the focus off. I recommend that. Being of service to others is abundance. Being of service to others takes the focus off of you, and it allows you to open up in new ways. So don't just sit in whatever your situation is. Find a way, if you can, to be of service to others, and that alone can help to shift your money situation. All right, this actually ties into what I want to talk about tomorrow. So I will see you all tomorrow at 9. And yes, I will be here on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve and New Year's Day and New Year's Eve. Yes, I'll be here. You don't have to be, but I will be. All right. I'll see you all next time.